The official trailer just dropped and Johnny Depp is almost unrecognizable. Gray hair, mutton chops, that sharp, cold stare. He looks straight into the camera and says it's good to be back. After years away from major studio films, this is the moment fans have been waiting for. Paramount calls him the master of misfits and places this new Scrooge right next to Jack Sparrow Edward Scissorhands in the Mad Hatter. The first images from Comic-Con show him fully in character walking through a fake Victorian street in the California heat. This is not another quiet independent project. This is a big budget Thanksgiving release directed by T.U. West. The question is simple. Is Hollywood ready for Johnny Depp's return as Ebenezer Scrooge? The moment the trailer hit online, everything shifted. Johnny Depp stands in that counting house set eyes, cold voice low, and the line lands hard. It's good to be back. For millions who grew up watching him turn strange characters into living, breathing legends, this felt like the first real signal that the long, quiet chapter might finally be closing. Paramount Pictures is banking on that exact feeling. They positioned the film as a major Thanksgiving release November 30th, 2026, and they are not treating it like a small prestige project. This is a studio picture with a full marketing push and a director known for making ordinary moments feel unsettling. Ty West, who delivered the X-Pearl and Max 16 trilogy, is the man behind the camera. He has said that certain versions of A Christmas Carol were among his earliest brushes with something close to horror. That sensibility shows in the first footage. The ghosts do not look soft or sentimental, they feel heavy. The streets of Dickensian London look lived in and slightly threatening. And right at the center is Johnny Depp as Ebenezer Scrooge, complete with gray mutton chops, a prosthetic nose, and that familiar ability to make stillness feel dangerous. According to reports, the production shot in Dublin and London earlier this year. The sets were built to feel authentic rather than glossy. Snow falls in scenes while the real California heat baked the Comic-Con recreation only days ago. Wait until you hear how the casting came together. In October 2025, Paramount confirmed Johnny Depp would play Scrooge with Andrea Riseborough also attached. Then the supporting roles filled in fast. Ian McKellen as Jacob Marley, Rupert Grint as Bob Cratchit, Daisy Ridley as the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, Tremel Tillman as the Ghost of Christmas Present, Sam Claflin as Fred, Charlie Murphy and Ellie Bamber as the Fezziwigs, Arthur Conti as young Ebenezer. That is a stacked ensemble for a holiday film, and it signals how seriously the studio is taking this return. But that's not even the craziest part. Johnny Depp himself has spoken about the role with unusual care. At the Beverly Hills premiere of his directorial work mode, he told Entertainment Tonight he wanted a different angle on Scrooge because so many great actors had already played him. He singled out Alastair Sim's 1951 performance as perfection and one of his favorite films of all time. At CinemaCon in April, he stood on stage and told theater owners he had been obsessed with the story since he was a little child. Those are not the words of someone taking an easy paycheck. They sound like someone who still treats character work as personal. Things were about to get even stranger when San Diego Comic-Con arrived last week. On July 23rd, Johnny Depp appeared in full Scrooge costume outside a temporary counting house set in the gas lamp quarter. Top hat, cane, gray facial hair, the whole transformation. Fans who had waited in the heat watched him stay in character. When someone called out, "Good day, Mr. Scrooge," he answered what's so pleasant about it. Later, he walked into Hall H still in makeup, carrying a candle and muttering about speaking into it. The official trailer dropped the same day. Text on screen listed the misfits he had already given audiences Jack Sparrow, Edward Scissorhands, the Mad Hatter, and then declared the Master of Misfits returns. The footage shows him throwing snowballs, snarling at carolers, cutting off Christmas greetings, and finally looking to the lens with that quiet line, "It's good to be back." The internet reaction was immediate. Some people focused on how unrecognizable he looked. Others simply said they had missed seeing him carry an entire film on pure presence. What happened next shocked no one who has followed his career closely. The conversation turned to whether audiences would show up. After the high-profile legal battles of 2022, Johnny Depp stepped away from major Hollywood studio leads. His most recent high-profile work had been the French film Jean du Barry and various independent projects. This is the first time since 2018's Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald that a big American studio has put him at the center of a wide theatrical release. The numbers around public perception have shifted over the years. Surveys reported in the press showed his favorability had dropped and then slowly climbed again. Paramount is clearly reading those numbers and deciding the moment is right. The marketing leans hard into the idea of return without over-explaining the past. They simply place the new character next to the old ones and let the images do the talking. But then everything changed in the way people started talking about the performance itself. Early reactions to the trailer focus less on the plot everyone already knows and more on the physical commitment. The makeup is heavy, the voice is raspy, the posture is closed and defensive, yet flashes of the old physical Grey still appear in the way he moves through a room or turns a simple line into something theatrical. That combination is pure Johnny Depp. He has always been strongest when a role asks him to hide inside another person's skin. Scrooge gives him a classic miser who still has to be interesting enough to hold the screen for 2 hours. The trailer suggests T. West is giving him room to be both funny and frightening sometimes in the same shot. Hidden details keep surfacing. The tagline, "The name you know, the story you don't," hints that the film expands beyond the familiar beats. Sources close to the production have described it as a thrilling ghost story set in Dickens' London following one man's supernatural journey to face his past, present, and future and fight for a second chance. That language leaves space for new emotional territory. Young Ebenezer is played by Arthur Conti, which means audiences will see the character before the bitterness fully set in. Ian McKellen's Marley appears in the trailer looking genuinely haunted. The ghosts are not the gentle Victorian spirits of older versions. They carry the weight of T. West's horror background. And through it all, Johnny Depp's Scrooge remains the fixed point the camera keeps returning to. Interesting facts keep the story moving. This will be the first major theatrical Christmas Carol adaptation since Jim Carrey's 2009 Disney version. The original Charles Dickens novella has been told so many times that finding a fresh angle is difficult, yet the combination of a horror-leaning director and an actor famous for misfit characters creates natural curiosity. Johnny Depp has never played a pure holiday role of this scale before. Most of his iconic parts lived in darker or stranger worlds. Putting him inside one of the most famous redemption stories ever written feels like a deliberate contrast. According to reports, he prepared by revisiting older film versions and thinking carefully about what still felt unexplored. That level of care is consistent with how he has approached transformation roles throughout his career. Financial details remain mostly private, as is common before a film opens. Paramount has not publicly released a production budget. What is clear is a level of investment in marketing, a full Comic-Con activation, a surprising character appearance, a high-profile trailer drop, and a November release date opposite other holiday titles all signal confidence. Theater owners at CinemaCon gave the early footage a strong response. Whether that translates into ticket sales will be decided in November, but the studio is treating the project like a genuine event rather than a quiet comeback attempt. The current situation is simple and electric. The trailer is only a few days old. Social media is still circulating the Comic-Con clips. Fans are debating every frame of the makeup and every line reading. Some are already planning group viewings for opening weekend. Others are cautiously optimistic after years of watching from the sidelines. Johnny Depp has not given a long interview about the role yet beyond the short comments at premieres and industry events. That silence only adds to the tension. The next major wave of footage will almost certainly arrive closer to the release. Until then, the conversation rests on those first images and the quiet power of that single sentence. It's good to be back. Every version of A Christmas Carol ends with the possibility of change. That theme sits right next to the real-world narrative of an actor stepping back into the center of a major studio film after a long stretch outside it. Whether the movie delivers on the promise of the trailer is something only audiences will decide in November. What cannot be denied is the craft already visible on screen, the commitment to the physical transformation, the choice of a director who understands how to make the familiar feel slightly dangerous. The supporting cast stacked with recognizable faces. And at the heart of it all, Johnny Depp doing what he has always done best, disappearing into a character so completely that the audience forgets the famous face underneath. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden world of Johnny Depp, make sure to subscribe because the next story is even more unbelievable.